What's up, it's Tice, and in this video I'm going to go over exactly how to inspect a phone, grade a phone, any deductions if needed, and also exactly how to negotiate on the phone and bring the price down so you can make more profit as a phone flipper. So I have some phones with me right here, so I'm going to start off with this iPhone 14 Pro and walk you through exactly how to, the whole entire inspection process that I personally used. So first thing I do when I get to the meetup is I wipe down the screen of the phone, and always what I do is check if there's any scratches. So on this one, there's not much, but if I were to wipe the phone down more, like as you guys probably saw right there, you want to wipe this phone down as much as possible, because the more you wipe it down, the more clean it is and the more scratches you could actually see. If the phone has fingerprints all over it, you're not going to be able to see if there's any scratches on it. So if we shine the light on it, there's always a way to do, no matter what meetup I'm at. If I'm buying a phone, I always shine the light on it. Boom, right there. You could see some scratches that we weren't able to see before. So right there, that alone is like a $30, $40 deduction, which means you can make more profit. So first thing, always check the screen. Next thing, this isn't really in order. This is just all the things that I really check. I don't go in order every single time. But open the phone. Do the buttons work? Okay, volume up works. Okay, volume down works. Power button works. Nice. So straight into settings. Make sure there is no iCloud on the phone. So if it says sign into your iCloud, good. There is no iCloud on the phone. But if it says like somebody's name or something here, that means there's an iCloud on the phone. So if you're at a meetup, just ask them to remove it. If they can't remove it, then the phone is iCloud locked, because they don't remember their password or whatever it is. But if they can't remove it, yeah, then you have to deduct a lot for that phone. So the first thing we'll go into is just sounds. So right here, right there. Okay, the sound works. Now we're gonna go into general. We'll go to about, and this is gonna tell you everything about the phone. So this is where you're gonna match up whatever the customer told you it is. So this is a 14 Pro, 128 gigabytes. Tells me the gigabytes. Tells me if the phone is carrier locked or not. This phone is carrier locked. So right here it's gonna say SIM locked. And if the phone was carrier unlocked, it would say no SIM restrictions. So right here it would say no SIM restrictions if the phone was unlocked, but the phone is locked, so it says SIM locked. It's going to tell me the IMEI and everything right here, which we will check later. So next thing we could look at is go down here to like display and brightness and true tone. So if it doesn't have true tone, that means the phone's screen was replaced at some point. So that is a big deduction if the phone, if the screen was replaced, because this screen was not replaced. So this is the original Apple screen. So that means this phone is water resistant. So if I drop this in the sink or the shower or whatever, it's going to be cool. But if I drop a phone that has a replaced screen, if I drop it in the sink or whatever, it's instantly cooked, completely done. So that is the big deduction right there. And something that you just got to look out for. And then I could go down here to Face ID, and right here set up Face ID, make sure the Face ID works. So exactly how this, just click get started, and if I just wave my face around and those green lines show up, do it again, then that means it's good. You don't have to do the whole entire thing. Just as long as those green lines show up, Face ID is good. So yep, check the Face ID, then go and check the battery. So go down, check the battery right here. Battery health and charging. Okay, this is at 100%. So it's good. If the battery is at like 84% or lower, I normally deduct like 20, 30 bucks. So that's just something to look out for. So when I go to battery health and charging, what that actually means, it's not the battery percent up here. It's not the battery right here. It's not that. It's actually a lot bigger than that. So if I go to battery, I'm on a different phone right now. If I go to battery health and charging, right there, this one is 94%. So what this actually means is, let's say I charge this phone, right? Boom, I charge this phone and it says 100% battery, right? I charge it for a couple hours and then it says 100% battery. What it actually is 94% because that's the maximum capacity that it could go to. So the lower that number is, the quicker the phone is going to deplete. The quicker the phone battery is going to deplete. And yeah, so if the maximum capacity is like 80%, then the phone may say 100%. It is going to say 100% when it's fully charged, but what it actually is, it's actually 80%. It's not actually 100%. So I hope that makes sense. That's everything in the settings. We will check the IMEI in a second. Next thing we'll look at is the camera. Make sure the camera works. So make sure that works. You know, the 0.5, the 2. Zoom in on like anything white. Make sure there's no black spots. It's kind of rare. I've never came across, actually I have came across a couple, but barely any. Then obviously make sure this way works. Make sure everything's good, you know, 0.5, whatever. That's really pretty much my whole entire inspection process, except for checking the IMEI. So when I check the IMEI on a phone, I use SICW. So I'm just going to type in SICW right here on my phone. It's called sicw.com, right? And that's what I use to check my IMEIs. So I'm just going to log in real quick. Okay, so now we're logged into SICW. So what I do, I use the 12-cent checker. Like if you don't have SICW and you're a phone flipper, please make an account because this is going to make all the difference. If a phone is blacklisted and you use the free checker, it's not going to tell you if it's actually blacklisted. So you could lose a lot of money from that. So I just recommend making an account. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but I recommend creating an account and just adding like $5 to it, right? Just add like $5 because I use the 12-cent checker. So whichever one is 12 cents right here, FMI and blacklist. And this is going to tell you everything you need to know about the phone, and it's going to give you the accurate information. So the actual information. So what I do, I just click right here, scan IMEI. All right, take photo or video. And then what I'm going to do is go to settings, general, and then about, scroll down, get the IMEI. I'm going to take a picture of it. Okay. Click use photo, and then it's going to say, please select IMEI. Click that. It's always the first one. And then I click check. It's going to take like 2 seconds, and it'll tell me everything that I need to know about the phone. So, boom, already done. And it just tells me everything about the phone. So really all we're looking for here is it blacklisted? So really everything's good here. We already know the phone is locked. So it says right here in red, SIM status is locked. So we already know that. The blacklist status right here, it says clean. So that's good. Everything else is cool. You know, it exactly matches up to whatever the customer said it was. And that's basically how I check my phone. So looking at this phone, if I'm going to ship this off to my private buyer, you know, obviously make sure everything is good on the phone. Like if you're at a meetup, make sure there's no dings on the sides or anything. If there is, you could deduct and make more money from that. Also, if you are at the meetup, I normally don't do this, but you could just for like extra safety. It's just like, I don't have one with me, but plug in a charger just to make sure it works. But other than that, you're chilling. But what else? What was I just going to say? Oh yeah. So yeah, check around the edges for any dings or scratches or anything, you know, make sure to check the back because there could be little tiny cracks. Make sure to check the camera lenses, make sure there's no cracks in the camera lenses. So overall, from looking at this phone, everything is cool. And it just has a little bit of scratches, but this phone is grade B, right? Nothing else is wrong with the phone. It's very cool. This phone is grade B, right? Whereas if we get like this phone, that's a terrible example. But this phone, let me wipe it down. But that's the whole inspection process I use. When I wipe this down, this phone, like, a phone's not going to be grade A unless it's completely flawless, like brand new. 99.999% of the phones that you get, they're not going to be grade A. Mostly everything is going to be grade B. So we look at this phone, yeah, it's cool. All right, no dings. But if we look at the back, it's sometimes hard to catch it, but there's cracks. There's a little crack on the back, right? So this phone would be grade B. This phone would be grade B, but we would go on the private buyer's price sheet and see what he deducts for a cracked back, and deduct that amount. What I do is actually deduct more, so I make money off the phone being cracked. So that's my whole inspection process. And then the whole negotiation process is just if you find anything wrong with the phone, like the Face ID is wrong, and you do have a private buyer, they tell you exactly, their price sheet tells you exactly what to deduct for the issue. So if I'm inspecting a phone and the one of the back camera lenses cracked, the buyer's price sheet will tell me deduct $40 for an iPhone 14 Pro. So me personally, what I would do, I would probably deduct like $60 so I make profit on that deduction. So that's my whole inspection process. And really, you want to be checking everything because you want to find a reason to negotiate them down on the phone so you can make more profit. So what I find 99.9% of the time, the most thing that I deduct on almost every single meetup, everything is cool. Like, most of the time it's not blacklisted, but sometimes somebody will tell me the phone is unlocked and it's actually carrier locked. So that's a deduction. You obviously just see what the buyer is paying for the carrier locked phone. If you have a private buyer, if you don't know what a private buyer is, it's just an individual who buys phones. They have a price sheet, and yeah, it's just like instead of selling on Facebook Marketplace or eBay, you sell straight to the buyer. You already know what you're getting paid, and it's just as simple as that. Like, they tell you exactly what they're paying. They tell you exactly what to deduct. Very simple. So that's basically what a private buyer is. And they buy phones in bulk or every model, whatever. But as I was saying, yeah, you just kind of go throughout the phone. You want to find something wrong with the phone. And 99.9% of the time, what I find is most of the time wrong with the phone is normally there's just scratches or little dings on the edge that I deduct like 30, 40, $50 depending on how bad the scratches and everything are. So if I have this phone right here and I have my fingernail and I scratch the scratches that are on there and it catches my fingernail and it's a deep scratch, if there's many of them, it's going to be grade C. But if there's just one fingernail deep scratch, you're probably going to get deducted probably $50, $60 depending on how bad the scratch actually is. But if there's multiple, it's going to be grade C. I don't know if I explained that very well, but I hope that makes sense. But yeah, basically you're just looking to find something that's wrong with the phone, but that's exactly how you inspect it. But the negotiation side, yeah, you're just looking, you want something to be wrong so you could deduct, so you can make more money, right? So if the back is cracked, the buyer deducts $100, you deduct $130. You make $30 profit on the phone on top of what you were going to make, and like you make $30 profit on top of what you were already going to make. Does that make sense? But yeah, normally there's not many issues. I've only came across a couple Face ID issues, but sometimes most of the time it's either a little crack, a little scratch, or they told me it was unlocked and the phone is actually carrier locked. So yeah, that's what happens most of the time. Now we're gonna dive into actually the whole entire grading process. And actually like what grades mean what and everything like that. So we just went over inspecting the phone, deducting, and actually negotiating. So now we're going to dive into a little bit of grading. All right, so now we're going to get into actually grading the phone and putting it in a category of what class the phone is actually, like the condition, everything like that, right? So what is actually the grade of the phone? So there's grade A, B, C, and D. Those are the grades. That's the grading scale. And this is if you have a private buyer, you have a grading scale of what they grade phones at and their description of them and what they deduct. what they pay for each model, and a private buyer really helps out. So this is just my personal private buyer's grade scale. And yeah, on the price sheet, you see what they pay for phones and deduct for phones and everything like that. So it's just like a cheat sheet of what to look at. And it's like anybody could really do it. You're just looking at what you're getting paid, everything like that. But if you do want access to my personal private buyers, you could book a call with me using the first link in the description if you want them. But so right here, grade A is like perfect condition, like new, completely mint condition, like not a single scratch, not a single micro scratch or anything like that. So if we go here, like this is an example of like a grade A phone. As you can see, absolutely flawless, nothing at all. Like literally nothing. No micro scratches, no scratches at all. Right? And then a grade B phone, this is fully functional. No cracks, light use. So like it could have some, little scratch, like a little nicks. Like this would be an example of like a grade B phone, right? As long as it doesn't, like there could be one scratch that like catches your fingernail, but it depends on the buyer. But this is sort of a grade B phone. This is looking a little bit more like, not grade C, but grade B. Grade B, it's on the edge of grade B. So this is like a little bit nicked up more than usual. But this would be an example of like a grade C phone. So many scratches that will catch your fingernail. This is like a grade C phone. If there's like a ding like this on the side, that would be a grade C phone. So grade C, the glass could be cracked too. So if the glass is cracked, that would be a grade C phone. And if it looks like this, like that's a grade C phone. And then also grade D. So this is, you're not going to run into a bunch of these, but the phone must be fully functional. It just needs a new screen. So maybe the phone has a bad LCD. So like this phone has a bad LCD, right? But it's also unavailable. So this is not a grade D phone because it's not fully functional. But if the phone is like this, but it's fully functional, that would be a grade D phone. So it has touch issues, a bad LCD. This is an example of bad LCD because it has lines in it. So that's a grade D phone. So that's grade A, B, and C that we just went over. And those are the typical phones you're going to dive into. You're going to see, right? And then obviously, bad Face ID, heavy scratching, deep scratches, heavy edge wear. These are things that, depending on how bad it is, you'll get deducted more, right? So if you say your phone is grade B, but there's actually heavy scratching on it, you'll get deducted more. But right here, so we were just looking over this iPhone 14 Pro that I just had. And these are the deductions that iPhone 14 Pro would have. So if the back was cracked, it would be $105, right? That we would have to deduct. But I want to make more profit on that deduction, so I would deduct probably like $130, $140. And then cracked lens, the buyer deducts $30. So if this phone had a cracked lens, I would probably deduct like $60. And then you have, normally when you get a buyer, you have their phone number. So if anything else is wrong with the phone, right here where it says ask, you would just text them and say, hey, what do you deduct for a bad back camera? Hey, what do you deduct for no Face ID on an iPhone 14 Pro? Blah, 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 blah. Right? So that's exactly the whole entire grading process, negotiating. I didn't super dive into like negotiation tactics, but just how to negotiate, how to deduct the price on the phone. Right? But that's grading, that's deducting, and everything like that. So I hope this video answered any questions any of you guys had or whatever. But I'll see you guys later.